All right, gang. Everybody file in. Let's go. Everybody take your seats. Places. It's been about 2 calendar years now since Florida State has won a football game on the road. So we're going to go over a lot of things tonight, one of which is another loss for Florida State. You are watching the Warchant Game Day Postgame Call-In show built by TSpark Enterprises. They're at the 2-minute warning. Clemson has picked off the ball. This one is over. It's 24-10 at the time that we're talking. He's Gene Williams, founder, administrator of Warchant.com. My name is Tom Lang, and tonight we're going to have a lot of conversations. If you want to talk about drop passes, we can talk about that. If you want to talk about terribly inaccurate throws, we can talk about that. Special teams blunders, absolutely, more than welcome.
Or horrible broadcast team, if you want to talk about something incredibly biased, ridiculous broadcast team, if you want to bring that to the table too.
I got to tell you something, Gene. I'm all in on this running back for Clemson. I love this guy so much.
Like FSU's getting a sack, and they're like spending 20 minutes on a lineman getting a block on poor Nicholson, who you could block him to the ground, Tom.
Have we talked about Clemson's offensive line and Clemson's running backs? Missed tackles, we can talk about that. How about some drops? We can talk about those.
Oh, there were a couple of those.
Turnovers, fourth down decisions. I know Gene loves to talk about those. We could talk about terrible throw mechanics, more drops. We could talk about penalties, composure, you name it. We can talk about it tonight, and that's what we're going to do, as unfortunately Florida State falls to and is about to fall to 4-5 on the season, 1-5 in the ACC. There's a lot of general topics. Gene, what is number one on your list this evening as we sign on Warchant TV?
Well, you open with it, Tom, is just going in this game. I think, nothing about this game really surprises me that we are now, I believe, if my math is correct, and it probably isn't, but we are 713 days since FSU last won a game outside of, I can't say outside because technically they won the ACC championship game. That's time won a true road game, 713 days. And man, the way this thing started out, and I've always said this is a fragile team. They can't have things go wrong with them early. And boy, did they go wrong early, Tom. That first half, 4 drops. And I mean, my God, he goes for it on fourth down, which I wasn't really a fan of. But maybe they had a good play. They had a play dialed up. Maybe that was why they went for that decision. And for Pittman to drop, which is just, I mean, unbelievable. And not only the drops, you did miss one thing, and that is also Castellanos missing a wide open squirrel white for a touchdown too in that first half too. You had that. You had 4 drops in the first half, including that one that should have gone for a touchdown. You had a fumble inside the 10-yard line that you're scoring there as well. I mean, there was just the way that first half went, there's no way you're winning that game. And you start the second half just to make sure we're not going to do anything. We're going to miss a field goal to start the third quarter too, just to make sure, there's no chance to win this game.
Yeah, I did have it. Terribly inaccurate throws. That was part of the list, and it was hurtful. You're checking a lot of boxes tonight, Gene, where I thought, honestly, the coaching staff had something for Clemson tonight.
You can throw it. Jeff talked about it in the pregame and all week long in the show. This is a team you had to throw the ball on.
Yep.
And when they do that, and they had plenty of opportunities. Guys were open. Plays were there to be had, but you actually have to make the play and make the catch.
Well, and also finish the play on defense. I mean, you could go to the first play from scrimmage tonight, which is a run to the right, and I believe it's Ashlyn Barker who has a play in the backfield. It's a no-gainer or a gain of 1. It ends up being a play for 12 yards because Florida State doesn't finish in that situation. Then you also get to a 4th and 1 on that first drive for Clemson, and you're not ready for that snap as they go with a quarterback sneak from a full yard away. Just a whole lot of things tonight where it seemed like Florida State was competing. Florida State had some things that they were prepared for. They saw what they were prepared for, and they couldn't close on the play on both sides of the ball. And it just avalanches on you. I thought for the balance, as they're showing Mark Packer celebrating on the screen right now. Now, he's a Clemson alum, but that's where we fall.
Are you sure that wasn't a Dazio celebrating? Dazio celebrating there. I think that was him.
Well, it's the big ACC network family in Clemson. I know that Wes is a North Carolina guy, but he loves him some Clemson too. It's just it's a panoply of terrible for Florida State. And what's really unfortunate about tonight's game is it felt like at the break, I was talking with Director Nick before the show started, you could be in front at halftime against Clemson if you make some of these basic plays, but Florida State doesn't, and you can't reasonably expect Florida State on the road to make these plays because it's been a couple years since they've done so with any consistency whatsoever. So it's just another tough night for the Noles. We're going to get your reaction. I know y'all are filing into the chat right now. We're going to get your reaction on the phone lines as well. We're looking forward to hearing from you. What is it that was the thing that made you shake your head or flip the channel for a moment or go get a refill and pour a double? What was it that put you over the top tonight? Because it's a buffet of things to choose from, all of these things, and I could have written out individual plays, but there's like 7 or 8 different categories.
Got my long list too.
Yeah, I mean, and it's only a 2-score game as we sit here, and the game's almost over. I mean, this is it. Florida State had an opportunity to go do something tonight, and the players didn't take advantage of it. And I know they want to talk about, well, we want to play very hard for Mike Norvell. Well, then catch the gosh darn ball.
Yeah.
Catch the gosh darn ball. Or in the return game, how about not fair catch it when you got 10 yards in front of you? Or go run up and catch the ball instead of letting it bounce for 20 yards. They're the worst team in the country. This is the thing for me, as you can tell. This is what puts me over the top, makes me want to pour a triple, not a double. Gene, this is consistently under Mike Norvell been the worst punt return team in the country in terms of preparation and coaching. They're guessing. They don't know what to do. And tonight was horrible for Squirrel White. And then he can make one play for you downfield in the first half, and Tommy overthrows him by like 20 yards. It's unbelievable. Tonight was a lot of things adding up to another familiar result, which is a loss for Florida State.
Yeah, you mentioned that special teams and amazing. And you and I remember that very first press conference with Mike Norvell 6 years ago when he was hired. And it was all about, I mean, there was so much of that on special teams. And his comment about your special teams is a reflection of your team on the whole. Well, he's right. He nailed that one because this team is special teams is not good. You miss field goals, you mishandle punt returns, and your team is messing up on both sides of the ball too. So yes, it is a reflection. The thing too, was, as you said, there were so many plays to be made, Tom. This team, Clemson, just gave up 45 points to Duke, who just lost to Connecticut. And for you to finish probably with 10 points, maybe they get, there's 20 seconds left in the game. They're not scoring. So you got 10 points against this team. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, and there was an opportunity where special teams does make a play for you. I don't think it was a block punt, but the pressure affected the punter so greatly that Florida State took the ball on the plus 35. That's tantamount to an interception deep in Clemson's territory. It's essentially a turnover generated. That's a nice play that Florida State was able to make, but of course they turned the ball over. Of course, Tommy and I think it was Sawchuk, but whoever the running back was, they weren't on the same page, and the ball's on the ground, and of course you lose the football in that situation. It's just – It's really frustrating because I feel like in that first half, this reminds me a little bit of the Miami game in this sense, Gene. I thought Gus had him ready, but Tommy misses wide open throws, and receivers obviously had the worst night that we've seen here in some time. And Florida State's had a lot of nights in the last few years where they've dropped the ball, like a lot. This one takes the cake.
Yeah, I don't think this season. I think there were a couple in 2024 like this. I mean, we all kind of just try to erase that entire season from our collective memories. But there were some games there where there were 3, 4. I mean, we had who was our tight end, Morlock. I mean, I think had 4 drops in a game before. Yeah. So, they've done that before. But this season, it hasn't been a huge problem. But it sure reared its ugly head, especially in the first half. And that's the kind of thing in the game. You cannot, when you're on a road trying to win a game, when you're an underdog, do that kind of thing, and it's going to kill you. It sucks the life out of you too from a momentum perspective.
It does. Let's get some reaction here from the chat on Warchant Game Day's post-game show built by TSpark Enterprises. First up will be Noel Kev. What's up, Noel Kev? He says, what else is there to be said that hasn't already been said? This crappy-ass conference, this wildly inconsistent team, this gimmicky offense, middle school garbage, ACC officials, ACC network. It's all just what it is now. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. And at least the commercials are getting a little bit better, but yeah.
Well, it's weird. I know people get different feeds on commercials. The entire first half I'm watching with some friends, and I don't think there was an actual commercial. It was all running ESPN, ABC things. I didn't see a single commercial, and I'm like, I did see some in the second half. I don't know. Were you not seeing that, Tom? Because I was like, are they purposely not selling ads when FSU's on or something? Is this some other way to screw FSU?
I was getting a lot of Cascade Platinum Plus for the dishwasher, which I think is
that's something different. Okay, I guess we were seeing a different feed.
That is a bougie step up from Alien Tape. I think
I miss the Alien Tape days and the indestructible flashlights. Where have those gone?
Let's see. You need flashlights to see through the smoke with the pyrotechnic problems they had 2 or 3 times tonight at Clemson. As Castellanos completes the pass to Deuce Robinson at the 48-yard line, time expires. 24-10 is your final tonight. Noel Kev, Thank you for the contribution. Yeah, this one checked all the boxes. What's different about this one than some of these other losses that Florida State has suffered on the road, and God knows we have a lot of losses to choose from, is that there were a lot of plays to be made tonight, like obvious ones, not ones that you have to slow down all 22 and say, look at this area right here. If he just saw it. No, it's ball goes to receiver doesn't catch ball, or wide open receiver, ball goes over receiver's head, or somebody's wide open on a wheel, you throw it 5 yards behind him, he adjusts. It's not a great throw. Jalen Lucas should make the catch, but he doesn't. So that's what it was for Florida State on offense tonight, and 24-10 is your final. Next up in terms of contributions on tonight's program will be Frankie Castellanos. Having to deal with the refs and Dazio tonight was torture. Make a change. Yeah, Dazio, unfortunately, was in his bag in all the wrong ways tonight, Frankie. I agree. I'm a guy who really kind of likes Steve Dazio.
That's Jeff's boy.
I bought him the pastry. I was the one that went out to the cake shop in Charlotte to get my man the pastry, but tonight he was
all I can think is he mad about all those beatdowns he got when he was at BC. That's all I can think that he doesn't. He's mad at FSU for that or something. Because he obviously from the beginning of the game, the whole broadcast, it was like I was listening to the Clemson broadcast network.
It could very well. It really was. And they've been calling Clemson games 3 weeks in a row. Maybe that has something to do with it, but I don't care. It was awful. Frankie, you're absolutely right. Thank you for the contribution. Next up is Dave. Hey, thanks for being a member for as long as you have been, Dave. We appreciate you. He says, it's official. Tallahassee is a drinking town with a football problem. And speaking of that, that's a great segue. Do we have the Drinkometer available here? Let's see, Gene. What's it going to be? Well, they lost by more than it's just water.
I was ready to go bourbon tonight. You know, if this would have been a big enough win for them that I was going to go hardcore tonight, but nope. It is not, so I'm sucking on some water tonight. Yay.
Oh, man. Is it room temperature water? Is it faucet?
It is room temperature water, not even cold.
Oh, man. It's better for the metabolism, but it's worse for the experience. Thank you, Dave. We appreciate your contribution. Let's see. Oh, I like this one. I'm going to put this one up, Director. It's Kyle, who says, your move, Alford, your move. I think
he's at the game. He was sitting there behind the sideline.
Yep, see and be seen, right? Yeah, he did the same thing at Stanford, but nothing came of that. We'll see if something changes tonight, and if we hear anything, we'll let you know. But color me skeptical. If Stanford didn't do it for you, why would this one? But I could be wrong. Next up in terms of contributions is Florida Man in Alabama, one of our favorites. He says, jumping back in to support Warchant. Thank you, Florida Man. TC1 needs to ride the bench. Warchant should start the postgame show at halftime, replace the entire offense. Thank you, Florida Man in Alabama. Just replace their hands. That's all you got to do. Just replace their hands, and I think we'll be in much better shape. Thanks, Florida Man. Next up, we have Sky Ninja. Done, bro. We are throwing darts on a dartboard with a guy throwing them sidearm. Yeah.
The mechanics of Tommy were just abysmal.
Awful throw mechanics. That was my penultimate point from earlier, so check that box. Actually, as people bring it up, maybe I'll see which one everybody was most angry about. So we got drops, inaccurate throws. Thank you very much for that contribution. Awful mechanics. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we have Nole Nation. These refs sucked, and the drops, the commentary sucked, and it was cruel. Yes. Yeah.
The official. I mean, in the second half, it seemed like a couple times Florida State had a chance to mount drives, and then suddenly the flags start coming out, and you saw when the two players were getting into it, like why it was called on one side, not the other one. They both swung at each other. I mean, that was just ridiculous.
Well,
and it's funny how they had the hands to the face, and if you saw the one of the replays later, Pettibone is getting absolutely jacked up the face right in front of the official. No call there.
Well, and our running back gets his face mask tugged the play before the illegal hands to the face. I think it was Singleton up the middle, but you have an obvious face mask. They show the replay, but Wes and Adazio were unbuckled looking at the history of Clemson in the booth.
They never wanted to acknowledge any of those plays. It was a call. I mean, the one play that kept going on when, and it probably wasn't legally a catch when Deuce had it on his hip on the one play. They don't talk about the fact the guy was riding piggyback on his back on the way into the end zone. Like, come on, guys.
Yep. Next up in contributions list tonight on the Warchant Game Day Postgame Call-In show is C Black. How long does Alford drag this out? Great question.
That is the question right now. But I will, to get to that, Tom, and what you said earlier, why wouldn't he do it after Stanford now? And I really, the belief in the stuff I've heard, they did not have their ducks in a row to make a move then. I really think they were caught up in how the season started. I'm talking about the administration, the money movers, everybody who's got to be involved. It's not just Alford saying you're fired. There's got to be a lot more people involved in this whole thing. And we talked about on our shows, and we hate to make excuses, but you can look in the lens of Miami and Virginia and be like, okay, those, Miami's at the time we thought was really good. Virginia was kind of flukish. They're obviously a ranked team. Pitt's a ranked team. That was really the shock was the Stanford game. And they were not, you can say they weren't prepared, and that's probably a fair assessment of the situation, but they weren't prepared to make a move that quickly. They should be prepared now. The writing is on the wall. There is no reason to wait till the Florida game. So again, I wouldn't be shocked. I haven't heard anything, since this game started, so I don't have any information on this, but I would be not shocked in the next 24, 48 hours if there's a move. If there's not, yeah, we may be waiting to pretty much the end of the year.
That's a good time to remind you to hit the bell next to the subscribe button and be alerted every time we go live here on Warchant TV. If something like that happens, we will be live with immediate reaction on Warchant TV. Head over to warchant.com as well. Sign up today for just $1 because it could get bumpy. Gene, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to follow up here and ask you. It's kind of a rhetorical, unfair question, but I want to get your take because I don't think we've discussed this. If they have their ducks in a row now and they were to make a move, but they weren't prepared for the Stanford game, then why would you issue a statement the Monday after Stanford and say that they're going to make a comprehensive assessment of the team and do it at the end of the season? Like, why would you take that middle step for a statement if you perhaps might be prepared to make the move on Mike Norvell 2 weeks to the day after the statement was issued?
No, that's a great question. But then again, I remember Alford at ACC Media Days waxing on and on about how they love the ACC in the middle while they're suing them. And I also know how often, Tom, do you see like in the NFL when the owner gives the, we're confident, gives the stamp of approval to the coach and then fires them the next day. I mean, this is just SOP for whatever reason. ADs, NFL owners seem to work this way where they always have to be positive on the outside at saying things, but that's not really what's going on behind the scenes.
Next up in terms of contributions is Sean says the snub broke Mike and players haven't tuned him out or have tuned him out since, probably is what you mean. Coach, I thought you said if we work hard and trust the process, we'll be good. Era over. I think for that crew, it was. This team is a little bit different. This is not last year's group that quits left and right. They just didn't make plays tonight, and that's really unfortunate. At some point, it doesn't matter because you're running up the score against Mike Norvell, because now that puts Florida State at 6-15 in the last two seasons, and we have not scored a road victory. Florida State has not since the Florida game in 2020.
And I doubt they will. The only road games at Virginia Tech and Florida, I think you're going to go over 2 years.
Yeah, NC State Friday.
Oh, yes. NC State, I'm sorry. Yeah, NC State, Virginia Tech at home. But NC State, especially since it's a Friday night game, forget it.
Yep. Let's see. Next up, we have a contribution from Cy Guy who says, Tommy can't see over the offensive line. New quarterback, please. Well, and then also he just decides to short arm, side arm, and back foot all the throws. You can have a bum leg when it comes to the running, but the mechanics just have not improved. If he was trying to better himself to become an NFL quarterback, mechanically that bettering
that's not going to get it done at all.
No, it doesn't show. Garrett PCL has been a member of our channel for 8 months. We appreciate you being Warchant Premier, Garrett. Thank you. I think the main issue with fans is, can we afford it? Can we afford to get a new staff, recruit, retain, and rebuild? Love you guys, and go Noles. Gene, you talk on money issues more than most anybody else in this beat and in this space. You think they got the money?
I think it's a matter of a sunk cost because you're going to lose more money to keep Mike. If this, let's say maybe they beat Virginia Tech and they lose the last two and they just obviously pretty poor season. What do you think ticket sales are going to be? What are booster contributions? How is that NIL infusion going to go? How are people going to be buying FSU gear? All these things play into that. So it's not like if you keep Mike for one more year, does anybody have any confidence that it's going to be any better next year? No. So what are you saving? $9 million, $10 million for 1 year? Then you fire him the next year after that. Was it worth it to tank the program and to lose all this money? And you think these recruits, we've seen it, 3 or 4 decommits this past week? You think that's going to get better? So at some point, you got to stop the bleeding. And at some point, you're bleeding more out than in, and you got to make the move.
Gene, you ready for a little bit of edgy humor?
Because, always.
All right, Johnny Zenol says, here's his contribution. Haven't seen this many drop balls since puberty hit the 8th grade boys choir.
Oh,
Johnny.
wow, Johnny Z, bringing it.
Thank you very
like
much,
it.
Zenol. We appreciate the contribution. Frankie Castellanos, the missed face mask called in the hands of the face. The next play was prime ACC refs. It was already 21-7 at that point, but that was a missing space on the bingo card. So you were able to fill that space.
Yep,
I think if we were playing like it's Thursday night beer bingo at Corner Pocket, Gene, they have the one round where you have to black out the whole square. I think tonight we cover the whole square. Broadcast, referees, Dabo, turnovers, drops, penalties, special teams, defensive missed tackles. You name it, it was there. Thank you very much, Frankie. All right, let's head to the phone lines. We've had some people waiting. It's funny. We went through a test, and then we closed the lines, and we opened them back up. And immediately, before Director Nick could call in to execute our test, we had 3 people waiting. It was instantaneous. So people want to talk tonight.
Wow.
We're going to Mitch in Grayson, Georgia. Mitch in Grayson, Georgia is the first caller tonight. Mitch, the floor is yours. Proceed, sir.
Hey, Gene. Hey, Tom. How y'all doing tonight?
We're hanging in, man. How are you?
I'm here with my special needs daughter again. We just got finished watching the game. She wants to say something to y'all. Hold on a second.
All right.
Hi, D. Hi, Tom.
Hi. How's it going?
Hey.
Mitch, what is your daughter's name? Mitch, did we lose you?
Her name's Danielle.
Danielle. Outstanding. Outstanding. Thank you, Mitch.
Are you there?
Yes, we are there.
Here. Yeah, her name's Danielle, and she just wanted to say that go Noles, and I don't know what happened. Like you said, Tommy with that sidearm stuff all night long, I just don't understand it. If he's hurt, injured, then let's see what Sperry or Brock has.
Yep.
And here's Danielle again. Just wanted to say goodbye. And her name's Danielle, and she's a big Seminole fan.
All right.
Go Noles.
Go Noles. Thank you, Danielle. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Danielle.
it. Danielle and Mitch. Outstanding in Grayson, Georgia. Thank you for the call. We needed a smile. All right. We need
involved early, and yeah, he's right about. I mean, at this point, the way Tommy looks, season's over. It's time to get Sperry some reps.
Yeah, well, and a lot of things are open. It would be nice. But I'll leave it there. Josh in Long Island. Here we go. For the 65th time in the history of Warchant TV, it's Josh in Long Island. Go ahead, Josh.
Tommy, Tom, and Gino. I didn't have it in me.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a. It's actually. I'm actually feeling conflicted. Excuse me, I had to get some water. I had feeling conflicted because we need to make a change, and I feel like if we kept on winning, we may not have made a change. And what I felt during the Mike Norvell hire was that, and it's coming true, that a guy, and this is no, shot against him, but a guy that is a guy that's from Memphis or anywhere that's not a Power Four coming into Florida State and trying to recruit the type of talent that he had, it would be really tough to do. I think he's done a really good job up until this point at getting transfers, but what's rearing its ugly head is the fact that we don't have developing guys that are like, 2, 3, 4 year guys that have come into our program and have really, made a mark. Like we just have to do it with transfers. And that is a tough thing because everybody has to be bought in to do it. Obviously, I think his tenure is over. I think, what we need is, we need somebody in there that will be able to, number one, not only recruit, but and I hate bringing, these guys up, but almost what, Miami is doing with Cristobal knowing how to recruit and get transfers, right? Like that receiver is unbelievable, and he's, the freshman. And I'm really feeling, as you can hear in my voice, I'm not even like sure how I'm feeling. I'm never happy that we lose, but at the same time, this just proves what it is. Like, we have to make this change, and we have to do it soon. It doesn't even matter if we do it now or at the end of the season. It really doesn't matter, I don't think. I think, like, if you do it at the end of the season, cool, fine, get somebody to start. But if you do it now, fine too. But, I don't want to see Sperry in there, and I'm going to tell you why. Because, I feel like that we would start seeing last year's mentality rear its ugly head.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. We appreciate it, Josh. Needed to make that the final thought there. I can understand the conflicted nature of where people are right now. It's stages of grief, so to speak. We're in the acceptance stage. I think we can all accept that this needs to be done, that this needs to be over. And I'm not going to get on the soapbox here. We've already had that moment on many of the shows. Gene, I don't know that you voiced your opinion on that level. So if you wish to, the soapbox is yours. But would you agree with my assessment that we all kind of understand where we are right now, which is past the point?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of when this is going to happen at this point. There's no. I think there was a very slim chance if he ran the table or, did really well. Even if this team, and I said maybe it would have gotten a reprieve. This is a really hard fought, clean played game, and you lost a narrow one at the end. Maybe that gives them a little bit of reprieve here, and we'll see what would have happened. I just don't see any way that Mike Norvell is going to be coaching this team in 2026. I do disagree waiting to the end. I think the sooner you make the move, the more time it gives you. You got to not only search for a coach and get stuff down. The signing day is, if you wait till after the Florida game, you can just completely kiss goodbye the 2026 recruiting class. And I know Josh just brought up how important recruiting was. So to me, I think you want to get somebody in there who's ready to go as quick as possible to get on that recruiting class and not wait to the last second.
Yeah, and if you're first to market in terms of naming the replacement, there are so many jobs that might still be in flux that you can pounce on some of those recruits with, Gene, a promise of rev share, a promise of if you can cajole people to spend NIL dollars. I don't know, it might be too much too soon to ask people to cut another check to help the football program. But with Auburn,
then they will do. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just saying when there's a new coach, you're more likely to get those checks because there's excitement around a program. Hope brings all, man, and it opens up checkbooks.
It does. Well, and again, Auburn, LSU, Florida, and many others might not have their answer yet. So we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. Angela, thank you for the contribution. Buffet is right. Tackles, catches, throws. Stop killing yourself. Yabba Dabbo don't Yabba Dabba don't. There we go. Is a terrible coach, and we made him look like it's 2018. Yeah, I thought this game was so similar, Gene, to last week's game in that Clemson was waiting for something bad to happen to it, just kind of like in the first quarter Florida State was against Wake. Wake's big plays were called back for penalties. Florida State's big plays were not executed because of drops and missed throws. I mean, you got the second play of the game is a wheel route to Jalen Lucas. He's wide the hell open. That's a Mike Norvell special. He ran that with Tiptoe Feely 4 years ago in this place. They've run that play a ton. They used it against Alabama in the second half of the first game of the season. And you drop the ball. And you have the Randy Pittman drop. And you got Cromont dropping on the perimeter. And you got bad throws from Tommy. If you hit any of those, Clemson might back down into a shell, but it's very similar to the way the Wake game played out last week, I think.
I think that's a really good – I hadn't thought of it that way, but that's a really good analogy, how both teams are kind of in that, they're just sitting there waiting for something bad to happen, but once you give them a little confidence when things go their way. And by the way, great RG3 reference on the Tiptoe Feely, one of my favorite calls by RG3 back in the day. That was fun when he did that. I miss him. Kind of like he rubbed me the wrong way at first, but it looked like he was doing a little bit better with the broadcast, and I kind of miss him doing those ACC network games. But no, you're right. I mean, these teams they're not good teams. They're waiting for something to go wrong, and FSU gave them. So here you go. Here's plenty of things we do wrong.
SRQ, thank you for the super sticker if I didn't mention that as well. Richard in Cummings, Georgia. Richard, absolutely welcome to the program for the 18th time. Go ahead, good sir.
Hey guys, how are we doing? It's actually Cumming, Georgia.
Oh, it's a singular, not plural. Okay, very well.
Yep. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of. I don't want to get into the Norvell thing, but when all the years I was bowling on the Professional Bowlers Tour, we always had a saying, "Don't squeeze the bowling ball," and that's kind of with your grip. And it seems like the team is playing afraid. They're afraid to just let loose and play. They know their ability. They know how good they can do. They're afraid to do it. And as we talked about last week with the elephant in the room, maybe that's preventing them from doing it. But it just seems like they're so afraid to be themselves. And I don't know if that is because of Norvell or what's going on with the situation, but it's just, we got to figure out a way to kind of get past this point. And I don't know what it is. I don't want to get into the fire Norvell thing, but it's the players seem like they're playing like they're afraid. Yeah. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, no, it's fair. We appreciate the call. I think that you can look to a couple of examples of that this season. The Pitt game from the defense is the first thing that jumps to mind for me about playing afraid to make a mistake. You can see in my head, I can see linebackers, safeties, and corners afraid to make a poor play, and in turn, they're guaranteeing that a play is made right in front of them because they're afraid to go trigger. I think that you could maybe look at playing tentative for the reason for some of these drops. I mean, Randy Pittman is one of the most sure-handed players on the planet. Think about the catch he made against Virginia that helps force overtime. It's an impossible catch. He also made another one along the sidelines tonight that was a very difficult attempt.
It looked like a pick. I can't believe he came up with that ball.
I agree. Well, yeah, stop Adazio again. He's like, that throw was late. Like, all of them are late. You could just say that was a throw because they're all late. But that guy is extremely short-handed, but not in that situation. And it could be that maybe they're sensing something on the sidelines. Maybe they were sensing something on the flight or in the locker room beforehand. But there were plays that were there. They're so wide open that just go out and play free. They did not play free. Gene, I think that's a good call by Richard. I think there might be something to that.
And I think that goes along with what you were saying earlier about, especially early on, that both teams are so tight. And they're just kind of waiting for something. And I think that goes back to the Wake Forest game because we all thought how bad that first quarter was. And it was just two teams kind of really tight, feeling each other out, not really sharp. But what happened after FSU got up a couple scores and loosened up? Well, they went in the second half. They scored 5 straight touchdowns. Suddenly they were loose and they played free in that game. But you're right. They're having a real hard time. It seems like it's been that way most of the season, kind of getting off the schneid early on. For whatever reason, they seem to be slow. And if they can weather that early storm and loosen up, then they might be okay. But the problem is, lately, that hasn't been the case.
We have over 2,500 on the YouTube side of things right now, over 6,000 across our multimedia footprint. Thank you to everybody who's here watching the Warchant Game Day Postgame Call-In show built by TSpark Enterprises. Here's something most folks don't think about. When you hire somebody to work on your roof, are they actually part of the company or just a subcontractor? With TSpark, you're getting trained professionals who are real employees. That means they're insured, certified, and go through safety courses before ever stepping on your roof. If something goes wrong with a subcontractor, you could be the one on the hook. But with TSpark, you've got peace of mind, and that is worth everything. TSpark Enterprises, we conquer all peaks. Next up is John in Boise, one of our favorites. Fifth call of the season, or fifth call all time on Warchant TV. John, welcome to the show, and go ahead.
Fifth call this season. Hey, guys, I'm sitting outside, look up the stars, asking God, Jesus, fix it, please. I can't take no more. My question is, the refs suck tonight as usual, but Landon Thomas, why are they not using him? It makes no sense. He's healthy. I saw him come in for one game for a blocking pass. I just don't get it, and it just blows my mind how you have a 4-star, actually should have been a 5-star recruit as a tight end. Randy Pittman, he's Gus' guy, but Norvell's guy is Landon Thomas, and this guy is going to leave after the season. I just see it. I see the writing in the wall. It makes no sense. You got talent there. Use them. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like I said, guys, I'm going to have a toast for you guys. I'm smoking a cigar. I'll give you guys a call next week. I love you guys. And come out and see me in Boise, guys. It's 31. It'll be 31 degrees tonight. So it's nice outside.
There you go, John. It won't be too far from that here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, a couple nights supposed to hit the freezing mark here soon. So, yeah, love it.
So they hit Landon Thomas on one all-out blitz that you notice how many times they brought 6 or 7, and Tommy didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, well, a couple times I've noticed when they sit back and they only rush 3 or 4, like he was picking them up, he was doing really well. So, yeah, they figured, now we got to get on him.
So there was one outlet throw to Thomas against pressure. I think it's because they like Randy Pittman more, to answer the question, John. But the thing is, and this might speak to some of the things about playing tentative, Jalen Lucas had a chance on the second play of the game. Randy Pittman had a chance. Cromah had a chance. A lot of players have had chances. But they rotate so many dudes. And this is something that I was so hopeful. I wasn't thrilled with the Gus hire. I'm on record saying that last year. But the one thing I said that I was very happy about was to take a look at Gus's track record. And he found guys he likes, and then they're the ones that get the targets. They're the ones that get the touches. And that just hasn't been the case outside of Deuce Robinson this year, Gene. I know Gavin Sawchuk leads the running back room and carries by a pretty healthy margin, but they rotated so many guys in there tonight again.
He had 1 carry tonight, Sawchuk.
And they told it to the broadcast crew. They said they wanted to get 5 or 6 guys in there. Why? For God's sake,
yeah, we saw this last year. This was a big problem last year. There was no continuity whatsoever. We had the very first against Georgia Tech in that first quarter when they decided, let's get the freshman running back out there in Cam. Of course, he drops a key play, and they end up having a punt that series, and then things went horribly wrong after that. They've not learned their lesson on that. I don't get it, Tom. You're 100% right on that. But I have no problem with Sam Singleton getting the start again. I mean, that was something I noted that was kind of nice. Look, we liked him. It's getting lost in the shuffle. Deuce had a really good game. 9 catches for 124 yards in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know it's easy to just complain about all the negatives, but there were a couple positives in this game.
I thought Gus had a good game plan tonight. And you know me, I'll say it if I didn't think so, but they did a lot of different things tonight that were tendency breakers for Florida State that they knew were Clemson specific. And I said that in the pregame. Gus doesn't typically do opponent specific things. In this game, he did, and he gets full marks for that. Now, we can get mad about repetitive play calling and crappy play calling in the second half. He was out of tricks at that point, but he put enough there, Gene, that Florida State should have had 10, 14, 17, 21 points in the first half if Florida State could bother to execute a dadgum play. Eric, thank you for the contribution. It's a shame, guys, but it's just time. FSU football will be back among the nation's elite. It just probably won't be with Mike. Appreciate that. Eric Harry says they have to protect their biggest asset, which is the players. Any salvage of the upcoming recruiting class. They need to make the move and give the players a vision on moving forward. They have a decent base to build on. Like the Desirs, for example, they keep getting better. Yeah. Those guys keep getting better.
But, Tom, you got to keep them. That's the other thing, too. The sooner you make a move, the sooner you can start your roster management. So not only going out and adding recruits in this class and looking ahead, but making sure someone has to come in and evaluate this roster and say, hey, we need to keep these guys. These guys fit into what we want to do. But if you wait till after the season, it's going to be you may be too late at that point. But let's face it. I know the portal isn't until January, but we know these teams are already tampering. You already hear about players are going to this school or this school. They're already tampering, especially that school down south. They're the kings of it.
Yes.
And they will cheat and take every advantage they can to do that. So if you wait too long on the Desirs, on Sperry, on some of these other guys, you could end up losing them.
Well, and the question becomes in that scenario, who is doing the talking to the player agent at that point? Because I would imagine if you're going to make a change, Derek Ray ain't going to be here. So
yeah, exactly.
Who would be the person in charge of reaching out to the agency to make sure that those deals are set? And here's a little nugget behind the scenes. I got something for you on the Desirs specifically. Because they were 3 stars when they signed here, when Florida State gave them a rev share agreement, again, this is kind of hearsay, but I know the drill here. They've got him on a good deal for Florida State. But just because you have them on a good deal for Florida State doesn't mean that you can't come back to the party with more for them to stay. Because you're going to have to. You're going to have to. If you keep it at the number that they agreed to when they got here on campus, they're gone. And so these little details, Gene, are critical that it's under Alford's purview at this point to find somebody, if it's not going to be the current regime, to have those conversations, lay the groundwork so that there can be some retention.
The sooner the better.
Frankly, I'd almost ask Odell, like, who do you trust? Because Odell's been here across many different places. Sandman, thank you for the contribution. Gus does not give an F with these play calls. He's just collecting a paycheck. Daring you to fire him can't convince me otherwise. I disagree. I know what you're talking about in the second half. They got a 2nd and 18, and they call an end around to Squirrel White. What the hell is that? I thought, honestly, the first bad play call, Gene, in the first half was the fumble, and it's not because he fumbled. It's just because you got 2nd and goal from about the 8-yard line.
Yeah, what are you doing on that? Yeah,
what do you call it a read option for crying out loud?
That's not going to score. And that
Yeah.
read option has been bad all year.
Well, because Tommy is illiterate when it comes to the read option. He just is. And Florida State can't catch a break with that, by the way. They can't find a quarterback.
They need to do a design run with him if they're going to do that, not the read option.
He also kept the ball when it looked like there was an end-around play to Danzy, but he was leading Danzy. And I think that was in the 3rd quarter. That made no sense. So I think that was the first drive of the second half. Allen says, we were loud and proud on site, but super disappointed with the performance. Time for a change. Good job supporting the Noles out there, Allen.
Yeah, it's a tough making the trip to Clemson. Very proud of anybody who did that.
Usually, Gene, I've always had a very good experience with those fans in terms of the tailgate lot, but it's not an easy drive, and he's going to be in traffic for about 6 hours.
Getting out of there is a nightmare.
It absolutely is. We'll take a break in a second, but let's go back to the phone lines for a couple more. We got Nick in Tallahassee for the 12th time on Warchant TV. It is Nick in Tallahassee. Welcome to the program.
Hey, gentlemen. So of all the things we can talk about, I'm really kind of curious about perspective on sports psychology. I don't know if these guys are wanting it so bad or what, because they say all the right things, coaches, players, they have that logo, they have this shiny new stadium renovation, footballing facility, and it just drives me nuts why the performance doesn't match up. Having said that, shout out to Hotel Indigo. I will see you for the Wildcat game, and I think, recommendation here, gentlemen, go get your ladies a whole wardrobe full of Spanx. Just do it and put it out on the little, when you check out, hey, just thinking of y'all and thought this was going to be a good opportunity and good investment. Go Noles.
There we go. Thank you, Nick. He is a mainstay on the 7th floor of Hotel Indigo. We'll catch you next week for what should be some good weather on a Saturday. I don't know about good football, but there's going to be some good weather. Yeah, I don't know, Gene. The intangible is the hard part about handicapping college football, watching college football, making sense of college football. You pointed it out earlier. Duke just beat Clemson 46-45 last week. They just lost to UConn today. Duke, same team, beat Clemson, lost to UConn. This sport has about 100 examples like that.
You mean Florida losing 38-7 to Kentucky? Oh, sorry, I just had to get that out there.
That's what a shame.
I'm good. Anything that's positive, I'm going to go for it. By the way, Virginia losing their quarterback and losing a Wake today.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I don't like that because it's getting Miami. I did not want Miami to be able to crawl back into this thing.
Yeah, I know it. And did Louisville escape or did they lose?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. They were tied last I saw.
Yeah, we'll get a check on that.
Anybody in the chat, let us know what happened with that one.
We'll go to Tuscaloosa for our last call before we take a quick break. And everybody who's in there, we're coming back to you, but we're going to take a quick break to get a refill here. It's Jacob in Tuscaloosa before we do that. Jacob, thanks for being patient, and welcome to the program.
Thanks, guys. I just have a couple things I want to talk about. My first thing is that Randy Pittman drop. I mean, if he catches that, that's probably a score. I mean, it's just we have bad luck on their side. And my second thing is, what do y'all think about the basketball team? We're 2-0. We haven't played anybody, though, but we got a tough one against Florida. And my third question is what do y'all think about us losing Lawrence Timmons' son going to Ohio State?
Well, we appreciate it, Jacob. Thank you. It is unfortunately a logical choice to choose Ohio State over Florida State in this moment. So that's what I think there. The basketball team is fun to watch. There's going to be some nights where they can't hit the broadside of a barn. Even when they chuck 43s up there, they might only hit like 12, and it could be ugly. There are going to be other nights where they throw up 43s, and they're going to hit 20 of them, and they might be able to beat everybody or anybody on a given night.
So at least fun to watch. And, again, they will get their test coming up real soon against the ranked Gator team.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State, too. I mean, it's tough whenever you lose one of your top recruits in a class, but let's face it, Ohio State is on a different level. And look, to be pragmatic about it, they have double, if not more, the NIL budget. He probably got a better deal he's playing for a team that's obviously been better for several years in Florida State, and he's probably making a bigger paycheck there. So it is what it is. That's college football these days.
Kiss OD, Mike, Tony, Gus aren't on the field. These quarterbacks aren't QB 13. We got spoiled. It was nice watching Jordan when Jordan was here. Jared says, we appreciate you very much, Kiss. Jared says, should have fired him after Stanford. At least UF is sharding the bed too. But they at least get to look forward to a new coach. Yeah, and they benched their quarterback tonight too. So yeah, that happened in the second half of the ball game, I think. Thank you, Jared. And Ian says, all a bit numbing. Mike and crew have to go. Been a fan since the 70s. This is just unacceptable. Appreciate the contributions, everybody. We've got more to get to. We've got more phone calls to get to in just a moment. We're going to take a 90-second break. This is a 90-second break. We'll be back in a minute and a half right here on Warchant TV's Warchant Game Day postgame call-in show built by TSpark Enterprises.
It rains 130 days a year in Tallahassee, which is 1.7 million gallons of water coming down, plus 500 pounds of leaves piling up on your roof, and maybe a tree branch or two. We spend 23.5 hours a day thinking about roofs. We've driven 60,000 miles in a year serving our customers. We've climbed 2,000 ladders to install over 100,000 shingles. You've got one roof. Let TSpark worry about the rest.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back here. This is the Warchant Game Day postgame call-in show built by TSpark Enterprises on Warchant TV. Contribution from Matt, who says, Mike is done. I know what you're trying to type there. He says, Mike is done. Thank you for the contribution. Noel Gal. Thank you for being a member, Noel Gal. Says, nothing pissed me off more than Mike Norvell standing silently on the sideline and rolling his eyes while penalties are missed. He can't even pretend to fight for his job or his team. I thought he was mixing it up with the officials a little bit.
Was.
But there was also some resignation there after a lot of things were not going Florida State's way. It was just a maddening night all the way around. Thank you, Noel Gal, for the contribution. We go back to the phone lines now to Dave in Nebraska. Haven't talked to you since last year. Dave, welcome back to the program, and go ahead, good sir.
How we doing, guys? So I finally got back through to you guys. So, it's been a couple weeks. First off, you're going to find this hard to believe, but I firmly believe that Mike doesn't need to be fired. There's a lot of reasons why. First, they're not. You go back and they're in every single game besides tonight, but there's two people that need to be replaced. First off is quarterback. Tommy is absolutely horrible. The dude can't hit a wide open wide receiver. I mean, tonight, he gave up easily. You could easily say Florida State had 4 touchdowns that he gave up on either fumble, missed wide receivers. I mean, he's just horrible. He's horrible. The second reason is Gus Malzahn. His play calling sometimes is just baffling. I know Corey Clark wants to brave, and Gene, this is a question to you. Corey Clark, he loves Gus Malzahn and he loves Tommy, but they both suck. And this team really is not that far off. If you just get a competent quarterback that can throw a wide open receiver the ball, you know what? They're going to win some games. So just give somebody else a chance. I'm done with Tommy. We don't need to fire Mike. Maybe it's in the end. We give Mike another chance. He goes find another offensive coordinator and see what happens.
Appreciate you, Dave. Thank you very much.
I don't think he likes Tommy very much.
No, and he's not a fan of Gus. I'm here to tell you, Dave, that Gus dialed up some good plays, but the problem is, Gus tabbed Tommy, Mike tabbed Tommy. Do you trust Mike Norvell to make the decision on the next quarterback? Because he made the decision on DJ, and he signed off on Tommy. So
and all that, that's the thing. And let's face it, Travis was there when he arrived. He never recruited Travis. He is not. None of the quarterbacks he's brought in, whether it's been recruiting or portal, basically not. I mean, if Tommy's as bad as you're saying, he's 0 for every quarterback he's brought in. So why would that change going back another year? And he's probably going to have less resources because, again, I'm afraid the way this thing is headed, if you kept him on, you're going to have less NIL resources to go out and find somebody. Maybe Sperry's the guy. I don't know. We'll see on that. But now, again, I know Corey does like Gus a lot of stuff, and I think for the most part he's done all right here. But obviously, again, we don't know how this game would have gone had they just simply caught the simple things like caught the ball in the first half. I mean, Florida State easily is probably right in the game, in the thick of things, and they're receiving the second half kick. So it's hard to go, was it the play calling? Was it Tommy? Although throwing the sidearm throws are ridiculous. That he's doing right now. But no, I just think that's a simple thing. Just catch the frickin' ball, and it's a ball game in the second half.
You're in year 6 of this guy's tenure. You want to sport him the first year for COVID, fine. So you're in the 5th year of Mike Norvell's tenure. They finished dead last in the ACC last season. This year they're 1-5.
Haven't won a road game in almost 2 years.
Yeah, you want to run it back? Then we're not at Florida State anymore. Ryan in Santa Rosa Beach. Ryan, thank you for being patient and welcome to the program. Go ahead.
I was watching this show. Hey guys, so I was listening to the last call, and I got a few things to say. I think when it comes to recruiting, I think that is the stem of what some of the issue is, because these drop passes, everyone's complaining drop passes. Randy Pittman was a 3-star kid out of Lynn Haven, Panama City kind of area. Hell, if we had, you want to talk about it, Jeremiah Smith from Chaminade, that's a 5-star kid, and he would have cost a 5-star dollar, but he probably would have caught that pass, and he probably would have ran that in. If we keep recruiting these kids, and if Mike keeps, if these are the targets that we have to live with what we're dealing with here, right? I mean, come on. And I'm not asking for a response right now, but there was in the third quarter, 4 minutes left in the third quarter. If you look at one of our DBs, he's holding up a 4th down sign.
Yeah,
it wasn't 4th down; it was 3rd down.
Yeah,
I think these kids are a little bit disconnected under our current coaching staff. And I do agree. I love Mike. I do, just like everyone else does. But I mean, how are we going to how long can we let this go? I mean, I've listened to everyone's calls, Lawrence Timmons' family. I've seen Lawrence Timmons. It's just hard.
We appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you. So Randy Pittman's catches earlier this season were miraculous because he's a 3-star. He wasn't supposed to make those. I mean,
yeah, he made a drop. It happens. I like Pittman a lot. It was a horrible drop at a really bad time.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear him. I hear what he's getting at in terms of the recruiting, though.
Which is a good point. I agree with Ryan on that. He's right. Overall, the underlying issue with Mike Norvell, to me, it comes down to recruit. If you're looking at one thing, it's recruiting. You can complain about a lot of other stuff, but at the end of the day, the reason why we have these portal teams, in my opinion, because they're hired mercenaries and they're so fragile, and you're taking so many chances trying to fill every position on the field every year with transfer portal. You have no depth to fall back on when there's an injury or a guy doesn't pan out. Those guys who should have been here 3-4 years to fill those gaps, they're not here because you're not recruiting guys to do it. So at the end of the day, yes, that fundamentally that is his issue.
Yeah, it's I know what play you're talking about as well. It's a 2nd and 10. Clemson gains 9. They're going left to right. And Edwin Joseph puts up this. And then if you watch the replay, though, he corrects himself. He realizes what's down, and then he switches to the 3. But, yes, he did not know the down and distance as Florida State made the stop on a 2nd and 10. Thanks for the call, Ryan. We appreciate you. Hope we hear from you again soon. Noles 93 in Tallahassee. Go for it. Noles 93, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Gene. Sorry we're talking again about it after another loss. But two things. One, this is 2 years in a row that we haven't had a quarterback that can throw the dang gum ball. And it's ridiculous. This is FSU. And two, Gene, I want you to get a lot of rest because I'm praying hard tonight that you are going to be busy on the phone, getting a war room ready to go. You guys have a great evening. I'll talk to y'all hopefully next week after a win.
There we go, Noles 93. He kept it short and sweet.
Yeah, thank you, 93.
It's an on-call kind of Sunday, isn't it, Gene Williams?
It's going to be one of those days. He said, you and I always personally complain because, it's my day off to watch the NFL. But no, I will not have a day off tomorrow, but that's fine. It should be exciting. Hopefully it'll be exciting. Hopefully it's not quiet. I know that'll get some people even madder, but you never know. You just never know what's going to happen.
That's where I got my weekend round of golf in today, and I got to tell you, I played so poorly. A lot of my drives look like Jake Weinberg's first kick tonight. Yeah, it was a little squirrely out there at Southwood. But nice to see Jake. He's a freshman, so I'm not picking on him completely because he bounced back and he hit a much longer field goal, a true nice right to left draw for the second attempt. But that 40-yarder was not even close because, of course, it wasn't. Steven, go ahead. Oh, no, sorry. I will go ahead because you're a contributor. FSU hasn't won a road game since 2023, looking like maybe 2026 for the next road win. Fair point, Steven.
I think that's probably accurate, Steven.
Nick Sells, ATL. I stuck with Mike through last year, through the recruiting issues and most of the season, but I can't stick with a coach who shows no anger or emotion on the sideline and looks lost 90% of the time. Love you guys. Thank you, Nick. That reads, Gene, like a comment from the Pitt game. I think the Pitt game was the one that broke a lot of undecideds to one camp, which was time for a change. The Stanford game was just cruel. But here we still sit. They did get a blowout win over Wake, which was nice, but we're right back where we started here with tonight's result. And as we're resetting here, we're about an hour into the show. Anything that maybe has occurred to you over the course of some of these comments or phone callers about what we saw tonight that maybe we didn't lead with earlier?
Not really. This was a cluster that hit all facets. I mean, it's everything you hate about what we've seen out of this team in this conference. It was encapsulated in one night in Clemson. It was almost a perfect cluster of everything. Nothing else, just that what we've known for a while, that there needs to be a change that's going to be made. Again, it comes down to win. And it may be tomorrow. It may be after the Florida game. I wish I could tell you.
I will take your word for this on the stats on the fly, Kendall. But here's a good comment. Norvell's record at FSU, 36-32. Jordan Travis, 28-10. Mike is 8-22 with no Jordan Travis. Love Mike, but hate losing more.
We all do.
Make the change. Let the Franklin Spanks era begin. Always go Noles. Franklin Spanks just has a nice ring to it, doesn't it, Kendall? Thank you very much. Always appreciate seeing the Epcot ball as your logo as well.
We'll take her on as a sponsor.
That's absolutely.
You be wearing some Spanx, Tom, if she dumps it in NIL.
Was that on the Smash or was it on this program last week? It might have been the Smash on Monday. I took the pledge. I said I would wear Spanx.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Oh, okay, that's cool.
I will take the pledge and wear the Spanx. Eric says, I'm done. Good night, Noles. Till next year. Thank you, Eric. I'm sure we'll talk to you next week. Brock says, hire a coach from the Southern region. Thank you, Brock, for your contribution. And one, Zach, thank you so much for your contribution. I thought play calling was awful in the fourth quarter. Agreed.
Yeah,
it started fine, but after a while, Gus was, I think, out. He was in his bag, and then the bag was empty, as the nomenclature goes. He's been waiting for just a little over 20 minutes from Phoenix, Arizona. His name is James from Phoenix, Arizona. James, go ahead, good sir.
Hey, fellas, you almost got me with that Franklin Spanks. I forgot my take almost. Listen, I just want to I'll be real quick. I'm over the effort from the team, really. When I go back and look at it, I see linemen standing around. I see, even on the flea flicker, did you really see effort from our DB there at all? It starts with the concentration, which leads to the drop passes. I mean, it's overall piss poor effort, and including Malzahn, like you said. How in the world do you run out of a bag when plays aren't working? There shouldn't be ability to run out of a bag, and that's the biggest point for me. Totally, is the team looks like it's given up from the head coach all the way down to the play. We had a few defensive linemen that gave great effort. Don't get me wrong, but if you go back and look at it, we didn't have people finishing plays at all. offensively and defensively, and that's the effort, and that starts with the head coach, and that's what gets people fired up. And enough with the apologists about the refs and the this and that. The refs have nothing to do with this game when we play this poorly and give this lack of effort. Thanks, fellas.
Yeah, I appreciate you, James. And I'll make a note here. That's a good call. I thought the defense competed really, really hard in that first half, but when you go for it on your own 39-yard line and Randy's wide open and he drops it, and they score on the flea flicker the next play, I think the spirit is kind of broken in that moment. But at 8-0, Clemson goes down, they score, and that's unfortunate. They hit a couple of big plays that convert on a 4th and short. The defense competed to keep the field position pinned in Florida State's favor, and they do ultimately generate the chance where Florida State gets the ball on the plus 35, and even after the fumble, they compete on that drive as well. But it was Florida State going for it on 4th down, and I don't necessarily hate the decision. It was a great play schemed up, but they didn't hit it. But it was at that point that I think the last straw, that the backup, the defense looked a little bit different after that point to me, Gene.
Yeah, and I said after that drop by Pittman, I said they're going to score here. I just know it because that is the danger of when you go for it in your own end like that on a 4th down. It's a momentum shifter big time. So, I mean, it's sometimes Mike say, oh, analytics, blah, 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 blah. But, I mean, there's a bigger picture than that kind of stuff here, and that's what I'm – but it may have been they may have gone, we've got this play to Pittman we know is going to work, and this is the time, and they're in the right formation to do it, so we're going for it. So if that was the case, then good call because, 99% of the time he catches that ball. He just didn't there.
I just wonder too, and the ball, it's not on Tommy. That's on Randy 100%. But the ball was a dead duck. Did it slip out of Tommy's hand? Like if you take a look at the football, it looks like a knuckle punt of some kind.
Yeah, it was a little.
I don't know what the deal was there because it was kind of snap and throw. The question I have, and it's a genuine question. I'm not trying to be snarky here. Did they see something before going for it on their own 39 that wasn't there when they were on 4th down at the 50?
That's true. That was it was the inconsistency. Like they didn't go for it. I'm like 50. I was kind of shocked he didn't go for it.
Me too.
Early in the game, I go, that's very unlike. And I made the comment right there on some people. I've never seen Mike in this situation not go for it. What's going on here? It was the right call. I liked him punting it and pinning him down. And going back to what James said too, I don't necessarily know if an effort was an issue in this one. I thought at times during the Stanford game the effort wasn't there. I thought the effort was there. Just to me, it was the execution, and then things spiraled out of control at the end.
Yeah, I think their spirit was broken. It's different than not showing up and not wanting to play. But yeah, Gina, I'm totally confused on that 4th down decision too, because here's the thing. As that half is going on and you make the call on 4th and whatever from your own 39-yard line, Clemson is in an offensive rut. I mean, they put the drive chart up after that, and it was like 3 and out, and maybe 5 plays. But they had 3 empty possessions in a row. You didn't have to force it there at 8-0. The only thing that you could do there to give Clemson a kickstart was to go for it and not convert. Yeah. I'm usually the go for it guy, but in that moment I was saying, no, the defense is actually winning right now. The defense is doing its job. It just you're putting yourself in a dangerous position. Then again, catch the freaking ball, and we're not having this conversation. Let's see, another contribution. We go to your mom. Correct me if I'm wrong, says your mom. And you may want to ask Ira since he was there, but I could swear I could hear the Benny Hill theme song being played on all FSU's offensive possessions. Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. Let's see. Tom says, hey. Very timely. Thank you, Director Nick. Tom Hayden says, full apathy is set in. Time to fire more than Norvell. At least we avoided the Platinum Bohica. Thank the Lord. All right. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, that's true. We did not lose 10 ACC games in a row. Jim, thank you for the super sticker. We appreciate you very, very much. Back to the phone lines we go. It's Joey in Tavares, Florida. One of our favorites. Joey, welcome to the program, and go ahead.
Tom, Gene, how you guys doing?
Hey, Joey.
Good to talk to you guys. Again, always thanks for what you guys do. I know for a fact that I'm talking with Gene, but I need to make sure, am I talking with Tom or his alter ego parentheses?
There you go.
I know you remember that. Your joke is great. So anyway, listen, Tom, when you started the show, you're like, you want to talk about this or talk about that? My whole thought was, I think somebody said, like, what are we talking about anymore? And it's sad affair. We're just not a very good football team. We don't have guys like one step forward, 2 steps back. I love Deuce, but even, he was drop ball Virginia. We don't have those guys that, is going to go out and we know we're going to win a ball game for us. And I'll give you 2 examples that happened today. The Indiana last drive, those guys went out there and absolutely won that game. Made every play, fought for every ball. Fantastic. And then the Georgia game, they did, right before the half, it was 4th down and 4, and they did the fire drill where they had the punt team on, ran them off. They did it twice. Got them to jump off sides. And my point is, with drop balls or whatever, that's still coaching. It's physical, it's mental, but those teams, those coaches had those guys locked in and ready to play. With that fire drill, that's 22 guys running back off the field, and they did it twice. And then after they jumped off sides, Mississippi State, they threw a screen pass into a blitz and scored on the next play. So it's just bad. It's sad. I know everybody likes Mike. Nobody, Mike was doing good. We'd be winning. But it's just sad state of affairs. And I don't know if you ever seen Apocalypse, though, but real quick, we're almost, Tom. We're almost. I love y'all.
Yeah.
You guys have a great night. Love you, fellas.
We appreciate it,
Thanks,
Joey.
Joey.
I'll give you another example. Gene, did you happen to catch the end of Oregon and Iowa today in the 3:30 window?
I saw the score, but no, I didn't catch it.
So Iowa goes up late, and the 2-point conversion doesn't work, and so they're up 1 point. And Dante Moore, you talk about players making plays. He completes a pass to, here's a name you'll recognize, Malik Benson.
Oh, my.
Up the right sideline. It is an absolutely perfect throw when you have to have it. I get what Joey's talking about. When Dalvin was here, we didn't win all our games, but you felt like you could win them all.
Mm-hmm.
And Florida State just, there aren't a whole lot of those players. I think Deuce is one of them. And I think Chroma could be one of them. And I think the Desir twins are rapidly turning into 2 of those kind of guys. But you just don't have veteran players with a ton of experience like you felt when we played in the ACC championship game with a 3rd-string quarterback. You still kind of felt okay because Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, Gene, they were there, and they were going to will it to be. It just isn't quite the same, and Florida State's cupboard is a little bit more bare.
No, absolutely. It's I think a lot of this goes back to what we talked about before with the talent, with the recruiting. I mean, look, he hit some home runs. Mike Norvell did early in his career with the transfer portal, and I still think he was very smart getting in on it early and finding these diamonds in a rough. And I think the rest of college football quickly caught up. And to go out in this day and age, if there's a Jared Verse out there, I don't think Florida State's getting him. Some other teams would jump in quicker, offer a lot more NIL money, and you would do it, which means you need to make up for that with recruiting. And that goes back to, again, I think the ultimate problem. You don't have those real men to make those big-time plays when you're not recruiting them.
Spartan 71 contributes and says 2026 no booster pledge or season tickets for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I know it. Go into a World Cup match and go Navy beat Army in the Meadowlands. I have no more cares to give FSU.
Wow.
You have broken the Ohana.
Ralph. No
more positivity from Ralph. He is a broken man. Thanks a lot, Mike. We appreciate that. Ralph's good people. I'm sure he might be back if he could be cajoled by the next head coach. We'll see. Alex says, seeing McCray celebrating after a tackle with 2 minutes left after getting his ass kicked all night tells me all I need to know. Yeah, there's a lot of tone deafness there.
And that wasn't a good look.
I think that's more than Florida State. I think that's this generation, and that's not me being the old man. I'm just saying.
I'm the old man.
There's a lot of that, and I don't know that that's a Florida State specific problem.
It's not that's not generate. That's just not a good look. I'm sorry.
No matter what, that's the bottom line. And Gene, you're right. No matter what, it is not a good look. If you are in the phone lines right now, you are safe. No new phone callers. Bam, Jim, Seminole, Bill, Brian, and G. Jackson are all good. And we will take it to Atlanta to talk to Bam. Welcome.
Bam.
Good evening, sir.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Bam.
Yeah, truth be told, man, to be honest with you, I think the guy's checked out. I think he's checked out. I think it's time to move on. Let's figure out a way just to get him paid. I think the only 2 coaches to me that can actually turn the program around immediately is I like Franklin. I think Franklin would be a good fit for Florida State, especially with his situation that happened at Penn State and the situation that Florida State's in. I think he's hungry for a situation like that. But, I just wonder, when I look at the defense, I wonder if Mickey Andrews is at home on his couch with a puke bucket. I mean, it's just it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. The defense it's a sad situation. Gus offense is Gus offense. We've seen him at Auburn. We've seen him at University of Central Florida, and that's I mean, Norvell he chose to bring in these guys. He took a gamble, and this is where we're sitting. We're sitting at 4-5, hoping to get a bowl, hoping to get a bowl game.
Yeah.
I think it's time to move on, man. I think the guy's checked out. I really think he's checked out. And I want to say one thing about the basketball program. I think Luke's that was a perfect fit, right decision. I think the young guy's hungry. I think he's going to surprise some people in the ACC. You guys have a good night.
Thank you, Bam. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Bam.
Yeah. Luke understood the assignment. He knew that there was not much money to work with, and he still took the job, and he knows Florida State. So I think
got some good recruits coming in too, at least if they hold. I mean, so far, so good on that front.
Yeah, and to Bam's point, if you pull back and look at this from a satellite view, and let's just say that you lived in the West Coast of college football, Mike Norvell was told you're not doing well enough, so you can't do your primary function anymore, which is calling plays. We need somebody else to get in here, call plays, so you can tighten this thing up and be better. And the response has been a 1-5 start in the ACC. So we need you to not do the thing that we brought you here to do, which was operate an offense, and we need you to pull back, be a CEO, and manage this thing so the details are better, so the little things show up, and they help us win 50-50 games. It hadn't worked. So
the little things are definitely not showing up.
No, and not at all.
If you want to call dropping passes and all the other nonsense, all untimely penalties, all that.
It's almost, Gene, I don't know if you ever been in any of those HR meetings as a witness before, but it's like you get that HR warning and then you do the same thing over again. So, we have documented warnings here. You're done. Jim in Greenville, South Carolina. Jim, welcome to the program in enemy territory. And what you got to say, good sir?
Yeah, I know, guys. I'm a Clemson guy calling you guys, but I watch you guys' programming all the time. So I do want to give you guys credit for running a first class, podcast and everything. So I did want to say, from watching your shows earlier in the week, Jeff really nailed this matchup. Basically, in my mind, he said, look, it's just a bad matchup for FSU, right? He said that the Dukes and the SMUs of the world have a quarterback that can exploit us. And you guys had those chances. I mean, my God, I mean, it was unbelievable. If that game could have been totally different, if a few of those, open things got caught there. So I just can't, he nailed it. So I'm gonna look forward to Ira and Corey's review. I did want to say to you, Gene, just one real quick question. I'm a 96 graduate of Clemson, so I went through some rough times. Y'all rattled off plenty wins when I was a student there, but it's 21-17 all-time record. We're catching up with you, buddy. I never thought we'd get there, but y'all have a good night, guys.
Thank you, Jim. Good call.
Yeah, no, those plays were there. This is something we talked about a little bit earlier, which was if Florida State hits on one or two of them, does Clemson turtle? They might have, but I guess
I think we would have a really competitive game at the very least in the second half.
And in some ways, it still was because it was within a couple of scores, but Florida State couldn't do anything with it. Seminole Bill in Crawfordville. Seminole Bill, we haven't talked to you. Is that right? Since 2020? Welcome to the show.
Since COVID.
No. It was last year.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead, good sir.
Hey, thank you, fellas. I got a couple quick questions for you all. Did you notice, and this is relating to the defense, in the second half, in the second drive, Clemson's got a 4th and 1. What in the world are we doing with 3 down linemen at the line instead of crowding that line like we did later and on a regular first down? I don't understand what we're doing. It makes no sense to me on a 4th and short like that, So that was one, and then the other, I would say we can't seem to get the quarterback down when it's going to be a quarterback draw or a 3rd and short, and we let those guys just run up the middle like that. That's been a repetitive problem all year long. What can we do about that? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it, Seminole Bill. I'm going to work backwards on that one because the touchdown on their opening drive is a quarterback run up the middle. It's a call of quarterback
play. Yeah.
You've got a 3-for-1 up the middle there. It's Shaheem. I can't read my own writing, but you got three guys. You got three guys in the end zone that are following one receiver. It's almost like a Bermuda Triangle around a receiver. And to me, one of those guys, I think, is supposed to be. I think Stephon Thompson is another one. Is one of those is supposed to be a spy or at least be around the line of scrimmage or the end zone line in order to account for the quarterback. But that to me looked like a breakdown and a miscommunication. I think, Gene, I don't know if you agree with this or not, on the sneak on the 4th and 1 on the first drive, I think Klubnik calls his own number and there's an alert there because they do see the line. Now, the problem is he's under center for a good 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi before they snap the ball.
Right.
And we're still not ready there. And I don't want to harp on Daryl Jackson. I think Daryl Jackson's been very good for us because he eats up 2 and 3 offensive linemen every single play. So that's an unheralded role. He gets blown off the ball. He's not ready for the snap, and neither is the defensive line, his defensive line mates. They were not prepared for that situation is the easy thing to say, which sucks because that is a little bit on coaching there.
They should be. No, I think that absolutely goes to coaching on that. Now, was this the play I'm thinking about when he started out in shotgun and came up to the line? Klubnik did?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the one too. That was the one Adazio, I think, got his pants around his ankles. He was so excited for that play call on that one. It was sickening. But no, I mean, it's fourth. End of the day, I don't care if he's shotgun or not. It's fourth, and you've got to be prepared for that, the defensive line. I don't know if why that wasn't communicated to them. If it wasn't communicated, or why they be in that formation, I don't know. So that was 100%, Tom. I agree. That's on coaching.
Well, there was another thing. This is like number 12 on the list, but since we're an hour and 15 minutes in the show, we got outworked in timeouts as well in the end of the first half. Clemson's got the ball with under 3 minutes to go. It's a 4th down inside of 5 yards. You know that they're going to dummy count that thing and try to draw us offsides because we have done that recently to end the game. You know what you can do right there to take that off the board as an option? You yourself burn a timeout. There's 2.5 minutes to go. You have the 2-minute timeout plus your own 2 that you would have remaining. That's plenty of assets to get the ball down the field and score. Instead, you put your defense in a position where they can jump off sides. I would never have done that. And then also, on the other end of it, Florida State has a decision to make as they cross the 50-yard line with about 1:05 to go. They call a timeout immediately instead of letting the clock run down.
I remember doing that too. And I told people around me, there's plenty of time. Why are you potentially, if you don't, that 4th down, if they don't pick it up, you're giving them a minute to go down and score on you. You have to think of the contingent, if things don't go right, don't make it a catastrophe. And that 100%, that was horrible clock management.
I mean, it reminded me of being in Dublin and watching the clock run down in the second quarter. I'm going, Mike, what the F? And now you don't have to call plays. So there's no excuse. Let's do a run of contributions here. Garrett Sloan says FSU has to make some changes in the postseason. Thank you, Garrett. We appreciate you. PJ, those 2 drops were flat out incomprehensible. Yeah, even when it's going bad, like those
there
are
were 4 that I counted. I don't know which ones. I mean, obviously the Pittman one, but there were 4 in the first half.
Yeah, probably the Jalen Lucas one too. Although, I mean, that's on the receiver 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And 4th is that throw is god freaking awful. Troy Knoll, but we have quality losses. Oh, shots fired at the AD. All right, thank you, Troy. Nick Sells says, I'm watching Ted Lasso. Can we be relegated?
We should be. Is there? If you're under the ACC, I don't know what that would be. That's pretty far down.
Cy Guy, our quarterback, can't see over the O-line. Give us Sperry. Derek Neal says, Mark Stoops is up 38-7 versus UF. Would you guys consider him for head coach? It's not popular. I would. Gene, do you cringe at that?
I like. No. I like Stoops a lot. He was really cool when he was here. He fit in well. Obviously, he knows he's been a coach in the South for a long time. He knows it. He's got the pedigree. Yep. I wouldn't have an issue with it, honestly. I don't know it's going to be the kind of splash hire they want to make, though.
I can understand if folks have all caps responses of no, but I think so. True Nonsense. What's the move? We are not one of the best 5 jobs available if Mike were to be fired and our money is too tight to try and flash cash to maybe make it worthwhile for the top candidates. I don't want a top candidate at 12 to 13 to 14 to $15 million or even 10. It's just that market is changing. At least I hope so. Lane Kiffin is about to get paid, and James Franklin, if he wants to, could get paid a whole lot of money. And obviously, if Nick Saban ever decided to come out of retirement, Gene, now's the time. He would get 18 to 20 million, I would imagine, to come out of retirement. But really, do we want to be paying 10, 11 million? Are you done with that forevermore, Gene? Do you want to see a number under 10 for the next hire?
100%. I mean, as much as I hate saying this because I can't stand the current state of college football, but that money needs to go into your NIL. If you want to be competitive, that's where it's at. Paying this ridiculous amount of money with these gigantic buyouts, you're throwing money away. It just doesn't make any sense. And sure, you'd like to have Lane Kiffin or Nick Saban coach here, but let's be realistic. Unless they're going to give most of their salary to NIL, it wouldn't work. You need to have the money needs to be allocated differently than it was 10, 15 years ago.
Alan says the Gus bus has crashed. Yeah, well, I think you ever see A League of Their Own, Gene, the baseball movie with Tom Hanks? Yeah, I think our offense was the little kid Stillwell that puts their eyes over the bus driver as he crashes into the ditch. That was what the offense was tonight. And then it got ugly for Gus in the second half. ZML, thank you very much for the super sticker. Shaggy Knoll says, in all seriousness, at least we're not that team from Gainesville. Noles hoops, anyone? We'll see how they do on Tuesday in Gainesville, but that's a fun team to watch. Thank you, Shaggy Knoll. And then ZML is back again. There's people saying this one's not on the coaches. No Singleton until the second half. Gimmick plays, missed one-on-one tackles, the silly celebrations. Singleton played in the first half.
He did. He started.
Yeah, he did. But some of the other stuff, sure, I'm here for that. Glenn, thank you for the $20 super sticker. We very much appreciate you. You have a question behind it, so we'll get to that. If it's a money thing, I'll swim out to the Arabian Gulf, pirate a tanker, and sell crude on the black market. That and 4th and 2 from our 35 fired him. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate those two contributions. Another word from our sponsor, TSpark Enterprises. They've got a new service available this fall. If you've got an outdated bath or shower, whether it's your home or business, TSpark delivers fast, pro-level bath and shower remodels, and it could be in as little as 1 day. No fumbles, just top-quality work and a clean finish. Ready for a game-changing refresh? Head to tsparkconstruction.com. TSpark Enterprises, we conquer all peaks. We go to Bloomington, Indiana, where they escaped Penn State's clutches today. Brian in Bloomington wants to talk to us. Brian, welcome to the program, and go ahead, sir.
Hey, yeah, I'm not calling to talk about Indiana. It is what it is with them. I'm happy for them. They give me something to fall back on as far as watching football. But I grew up a Florida State fan, so I'm totally in the camp of Florida State. But I'm not going to bash on the team. It is what it is at this point. But I did want to ask about James Franklin. It seems, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like James Franklin might have been interested in the job before they hired Mike Norvell, and maybe he was willing to leave Penn State then. He's a big enough name to where one of these open jobs would have already hired him if they wanted him. I know his name's been talked about with Virginia Tech. What if there's some sort of, I don't want to call it a backroom deal. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe because, like I said, he could have had any job that he wants. I mean, maybe, maybe not. LSU's there, Auburn. Those seem to be the bigger names. Could Florida State be holding out for him, do you think?
Thank you, Brian. We appreciate the call. I don't know if Florida State is holding out specifically for James Franklin. Gene, this is a tough part of the coaching calendar or the college football calendar, because there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation put out there by agents, and they're trying to false leak interest at other places so that they drive up the price on their own client. It's very difficult to sort through that type of fog. But I've heard from a few places that James Franklin would be very interested in the Florida State job if it was offered to him, and maybe that's why has not taken the Virginia Tech job. But I don't know that for a fact. Any insights that you might have on James specifically?
Not really. Just to confirm what you said, and I've heard the same thing, that he has a legitimate interest in the Florida State job. It has to go both ways, and the money has to work too. Is he going to be one of these guys we just talked about that's going to want one of these ridiculous contracts? I don't think. We just discussed we don't want FSU to do that. Hopefully FSU doesn't do something like that again. I do think in these circumstances, to answer the last question, I do think even though FSU is not really out on the market right now, they have a head coach and they're evaluating, quote unquote. I'm pretty sure there's probably been some inquiries out to Mr. Sexton out there, probably saying, well, who are some guys, maybe Sexton's name's come up in that informal discourse so far. So, I mean, that could, in theory, could be one of the reasons why he's taking his time. Maybe he thinks this FSU job's going to open up. And even better for him, if this opens up and Auburn wants him and a couple other schools, Jimmy can jack that price way up.
That's an interesting point you raised. Just quickly parsing that statement, comprehensive assessment of the football program. I think that is tantamount to they're having discussions with potential candidates as well, right? I mean, isn't that kind of what they're implying there?
Well, I think there's, again, I don't think we say discussions. I think their agent is, he's hitting the bushes right now, shaking some things up. So you get a lay of the land. So when that move is made.
Yeah, makes total sense. Our final caller of the night, we go to Orlando for G. Jackson. G. Jackson, it's been a minute since we talked to you. Welcome back to the program, and go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Doing all right.
Sorry for a terrible night, but we played how we played. I wanted to make 3 points. The last point, I wanted to get you guys buy-in and see what you think. First point, I think we got pieces in place. Contrary to popular belief, I think the players are playing. I don't think they've given up. We've had some unfortunate events. We haven't played through those, and that's what we look for as Florida State players, and as fan base. We look for the players to play through those plays in those tough times. We just haven't had those, right? But again, that falls back on leadership. To my second point, Norvell has had 6 years, and I haven't seen the development in the players. I haven't seen to where players that he's recruited that actually got an opportunity. And when we can talk about Brock Glenn, for instance, guy that came in, he was thrown to the fire just last year in the championship game, but now he's not even part of the rotation. That to me is an indictment on the coaching and on the leadership, in my opinion. And I just think that Norvell's a great guy. And I don't think no Florida State fan can contrast that. But as far as developing the players and as far as him pulling in the portal and leaning on the portal, even if you do that, I believe we're in a stage now where you can lean, but you have to get at least 2-3 years with those guys and develop them. And I just haven't seen that. So I'm out on Norvell. Nothing personal, just, from a Florida State standpoint, I just don't think he's an answer. The last and final question I wanted to pose to you guys and seeing if you had any insight. I haven't heard much discussion about, Coach Prime, his opportunity at Florida State. I don't think it would have been a good hire at the Taggart. I think now that he's gained experience coaching collegiately and his ability to bring in coaches, to bring in morale, to bring in developing players. You've seen that. The players love him. What you think? What you guys think about that hire?
I appreciate it, G. Jackson. Thank you for the call. I would say to that question, I don't know that Coach Prime has literally the physical health to handle a multi-year agreement from Florida State, because unfortunately, Gene, he's in a situation where it seems like there's a story every year where Deion Sanders is in some trouble, and thankfully he's come out of it in those circumstances. And that's on the very basic front of, are you a good candidate to help Florida State for the next 5 years? On the second level of the football stuff, it's fallen apart at Colorado. It's totally fallen apart there. Where's the track record without Travis Hunter or Shador? When those guys left, it all went to crap. So no, I'll take a hard pass there. He would give you buzz, but I think that's all he would do. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think I made it pretty clear my feelings about Deion. I just don't think he's qualified. I mean, put the health stuff, I think that's a good point. That's obviously would factor in if anybody was looking at him to be a head coach of a major P4 program. But yeah, just experience-wise and what he has done at Colorado is I'm not impressed. And you've heard a lot of stories about, a lot of issues in the opposite. I mean, bringing in buddies like Warren Sapp and some other stuff. I don't think this is him bringing in coaches. The fact that he does not go out and actually recruit. People go on, the biggest thing I hear about him is people say, the recruiting would go through the roof. Oh, really? Show me their great recruiting classes. He's not doing that. Show me the fact that he won't even go out and recruit on his own because people need to come to Prime. it would not. Yeah, you get a real buzz for a short time, and then I'm pretty sure we'd see pretty similar results crap on the field too.
Well, I mean, that's what he's got right now. We're 1-5 in the ACC. He's 1-6 in the Big 12.
It's exactly what you get. The same thing.
And that's the thing where I would point to also just the health. I think that might be a cover that they need to come to me. I don't want to see their house. They want to see my house, which is what he said about hitting the road and recruiting. I think that might actually be a cover because it is in his best interest to be getting on a plane all the time.
But he did that before he even was there, Tom. This has been his whole from the beginning. He doesn't do that.
Yeah, no, fair, 100%. We've got one more break to take, and then to the rest of the contributions that we have. We've got 23 more. You folks are unbelievably generous. We're going to hit that in 2 minutes' time right here on Warchant TV. This is Warchant Game Day Postgame, built by TSpark Enterprises.
Greatness is built through passion, perseverance, and an unyielding commitment to one's trade. It starts with dedication and the relentless pursuit of perfection. The early mornings, the late evenings, the sacrifices made, all for that one moment of knocking it out of the park. On every job we do. TSpark, we conquer all peaks.
No Man says Keon Coleman told recruits not to come, but our fans bash Deion. Well, you know who else told recruits not to come to Florida State? Deion Sanders. It's true.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll go back to the contributions. Optimist says Braum would be my number one. Is he too expensive, though? In this coaching market, I think a name like Braum gets more expensive because there's a lot of openings, and these first choices that an LSU, a Florida, a Penn State all have had planned have said no. Although apparently Louisville lost tonight. I've not looked at that final score, but apparently they lost to Cal tonight.
Yeah, apparently they did. It's supply demand, basic economics.
Boy, what a big game that is. NC State, Miami next week for Miami. Could they climb back in this thing? Cy Guy says, why are we not blocking the edges on the O-line? Appreciate you, Cy Guy. Cody Johnson says, why do we take the same callers, let others speak? We had a lot of callers that have spoken for the first time in a long time tonight, Cody.
Yeah, we don't take, they get it. You get in when you get in. We don't have any control over it.
Cy Guy, all FSU fans, please forgive me for jinxing the season by saying we're the best rushing team in history. I promise I'll never be optimistic again. Appreciate you for all the contributions tonight. Daniel, Jimmy Sexton, agent online too, 100%. Zach, thank you for the contribution. And did you know Florida State's had just 2 homegrown draft picks under Mike Norvell? Yes.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
Farmer AZ. Kyle, climb, respond, that is getting old AF. Thank you, Kyle. It is. Dane says, we can't be bad and broke. How quickly can we get Spanx and or Big Ten SEC money? Do we spend money on a new coaching staff today or get out of the ACC now? I don't think that's an either or. I think they've got the money if they need to, but they didn't want to have to do this, plain and simple. And here we are. Why skip my question? I sent 10 says true nonsense. We got to your question. I hope you were patient. Yuckmouth says sucks when Schadenfreude is all you have to look forward to for the rest of the season. The longer Coach Mike Norvell is here, the deeper into irrelevancy will fall. We have to move on. Love y'all. Go Noles. Once again, like I said with Angela, runner Angela, Gene, if Yuckmouth is pessimistic, you've really done something because he's always.
Yeah, Yuckmouth and now Ralph off the train. That's just we've hit rock bottom.
Thanks a lot, guys. One Zach says we need to hire Charles Huff from Southern Miss. All right, there's another name to throw
That's
in
an
there.
interesting name.
Bo, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. We really appreciate you. Welcome aboard. Leo says Tommy quarterback ceiling is 5'8" on a good day. Drake can't recruit at all. FSU is broke, and that's Derek Ray can't recruit at all. FSU is broken. A team of mercenaries is a team without heart. Thank you, Leo. Zach Miller is back. 13-25 versus top 25. 3-7 versus top 10. 1-10 versus top 5. James Franklin is a bald and tan version of Mike Norvell. So please, for the love of God, stop asking for him.
How do you really feel about him, Zach?
Zach, he went and took some notes and brought him to the table. Mitch, new member. Thank you, Mitch. Welcome aboard. Georgie, I like Mike. Don't think he's a bad coach, but he's not great. Never Franklin. If I'm Mike, I say this isn't working. I will resign for 1/3 of my buyout to not hold this program hostage. Go Noles.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Sexton would leave him immediately at that point. Armchair Quarterback Radio. TG, y'all are around. We appreciate the group therapy. Thank you, Armchair. Carl, thank you for the super sticker. And he says, we have many wide receivers and a quarterback with no accuracy. Yeah, here's the thing. Remember a few years ago when we were, Gene, lamenting that Florida State didn't have receivers? They actually have a pretty good crew of targets this year. What a shame.
Well, although I'm still surprised that, Squirrel White we thought was going to be the number 2 guy, and he's been basically irrelevant in this team all season. Oh, that one big catch against Alabama, that was it.
Yep. Yeah. If you did a study on Squirrel White being open and how many yards he should have this year, it's probably about 500 more than he currently has. And one of those big plays would have been tonight. Noel Gal, do you think Mike is gone tomorrow, or will they really wait to the end of the season? I yield to Gene on all matters like
sure,
this.
throw the tough ones to me.
Gut feeling. Nobody's holding you to it.
Oh, man. I don't know. It legitimately, it's 50-50. I'd say in the next 48 hours, I'll give it a 51% chance that we'll hear something in the next 48 hours.
We will be on call, though. Seminole Dynasty Mike, pay me what they pay our quarterback coach, and I show you the same results. Waste of money. Thank you, Seminole Dynasty Mike, for being a member and cute dog. And finally, Zach Myers tonight says, on a different note than FSU's depressing football program, do you really think Kiffin is going to UF? Seems like he has a good thing at Ole Miss. I don't know what he's going to do, but somebody's going to pay him a lot more money than he's making right here, right now, because LSU's got to want him too, I would think, Gene.
Oh, absolutely. They all want him. But, yeah, at the end of the day, he's going to make a lot of money. Sexton's going to make a lot of money. If I'm him, and nobody seems to think like this, and this is a bigger life thing, I understand he's got a good thing at Ole Miss. He's not going to have the pressure of those two programs, and he's still going to make a boatload of money. Stay where you are. It doesn't make sense, but these guys – in their agent push them in their ego, and they want to go ahead and on to bigger, better things supposedly, and have all the pressure of being a coach at those schools. So he should stay at Ole Miss, but man, I guess it'll be fun to see what happens the next few weeks.
Coming up on warchant.com tonight, you'll have Corey Clark's column. See, I said that right this week. Available on warchant.com. Ira Schoffel's reaction as well on the site right now. You've got the press conferences. Oh, my goodness, Gene, the forlorn look on Mike Norvell's face. This looks like Stanford again.
The screenshot, I just looked at that. Yeah,
I'm going to pull this up so the audience can see. Oh, my word. Yeah, Mike is not having a great time right now. There we go.
Yeah.
Are we seeing that on the screen? Yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah.
Not great.
It looked like a guy who doesn't have a ride back to Tallahassee.
If a picture is worth 1,000 words, you can write 1,000 on that one. That is not positive looking. Yeah, there we go. There's the Stanford look as well, Director. Thank you. The Warchant wrap will be available on the channel here in short order. Corey and Ira are on site. Aslan is taping that, so it should be available on the channel. Make sure, everybody, now is the time. Now is the time. Subscribe to Warchant TV right now. Hit the bell next to it. We have some business to attend to. If not tomorrow or Monday, later this month, it's going to get very, very interesting. And that has implications, Gene Williams, across the board. It's not just about the man sitting in the head coaching office. It has coordinator implications, recruiting class implications, transfer portal implications. It's going to be very, very busy. So when news breaks, make sure that you head over to YouTube. If you subscribe to Warchant TV, and hit the bell, you'll be alerted when we go live. Very, very important. Also, extremely important, head over to warchant.com and sign up today. It's just $1 for your first week. Interact with the largest FSU fan community in the space over at warchant.com and gain access to all of our excellent content on the Tribal Council, the Premium Recruiting Board. It's going to be a very busy holiday season between now and New Year's, I would imagine, Gene.
No, this is the time. If you're going to sign up to Warchant, now's the time, because we know there's going to be a change. Let's face it, there's going to be a change. So you want to be in on all of what's going on. Not only the search for the new coach, finding out who's going to get that, where does this mean? And you talk about implications. This is program implications going forward. This is huge. This is such a crucial time for this program. We know they're getting out of the ACC sometime in the next few years, and you want to do it with the program on the rise. And they need to make some changes. Obviously, and they will make some changes. It's going to be huge. There's going to be some gigantic decisions for, the whole crew, McCullough, Alford, and Peter Collins, and the whole gang. They're really going to have to get after it. So, yeah, come on in, join us, and we got a lot to offer.
We would be very happy to earn your business. We think you're going to be very pleased if you head over to warchant.com. And again, subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely free. Let's see. Do we have anything else to promote, Gene? Are you going to do PFF grades? Are we doing snap count trackers? Or are we worried about?
Well, I'm always pretty good about this. And, unless I literally get the thing first thing in the morning that there's some major stuff going on, and I will scrap that. But I'll at least give you the snap counts, unless I'm just immediately on coach duty. Right away. But so, yeah, I will at least and I'm always curious to look at the snap counts, but I think people are less and less interested in this and the subjective grades from PFF when there's bigger concerns among this fan base right now.
100%. We want to thank everybody for contributing to the program with your questions in the chat. Your contributions, while not necessary, always appreciated very much. Thank you all for making us the Warchant TV world go round. For all those that called in tonight, we very much appreciate you as well. Screener, Terry Clark, who I saw at dinner. I was getting to-go food.
He said he saw you after playing golf today.
That's right. I saw him and Dan at the bar. They were getting to-go orders. I was getting to-go orders. Appreciate Terry, as always, for screening our calls. Director Nick Carlisle behind the scenes doing a fantastic job. He handles a lot of operations in the aftermath of a football game, so thank you to him. TSpark Enterprises, as always, a fantastic sponsor, tsparkconstruction.com if you live in North Florida or South Georgia. And thank you, Gene. Appreciate it, man. One of these days we're going to be on a winning streak again for these post-game shows, but we've had to do a lot of these downtrodden post-game shows in our existence.
It's rough, man. It's wearing on me. It seems like, boy, that it was so much fun in 2023, and boy, did the bottom fall out since then. We've been doing a lot of these. And so we haven't done one on the road in almost 2 years, Tom.
Yeah.
A winning road report.
Not since we had Trey Benson with a beautiful cutback and a touchdown run to ice that game in the swamp have we had a road victory edition of the Warchant Game Day post.
We're due, but we may not see one until 2026, in my opinion.
We will also be due to join you next week right here for the post-game show, 7:30 kickoff, another prime timer for Florida State and Virginia Tech. So we'll be talking to you sometime in that 10 p.m. hour, maybe early 11 p.m. hour if the game is close down to the last minute or two. For Director Nick, for Terry, for Gene, my name is Tom. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel on the way out. We will talk to you next time very soon on Warchant TV, and head over to warchant.com for complete Florida State and Clemson coverage.